This call is now being recorded.
Wasn't so, shall I?
Yes, you start.
Yeah, okay. A warm welcome to one and all present here. Dr. MJR Educational and Research Institute, Faculty of Engineering and Technology, first year BTech campus and Department of English is organizing 3 days skill development program on revitalizing your professional skills exclusively for non-teaching staffs. And I'm very happy to welcome you all for the third day session. And today we have two sessions with two eminent speakers. First session by Dr. Mary Thomas, Dean, Department of English, Dr. MJR Education and Research Institute on topic Tips to Enhance Spoken English Skills. And second session by Dr. M. Chandrasena Rajeshwaran, Head Department of English, Dr. MJR Education and Research Institute on topic English for Personal Rapport. So since we are going to focus more on how to enhance spoken English skills, I would like to say a motivational quote that English is not an ornament of wisdom, but simply a skill for communication. And I'm sure that this session will definitely help you to enhance your spoken English skill. Now I'm honored to welcome Dr. L. Ramesh, Dean Events, who has been a backbone support for all the events, and he has been a great help to all teaching and non-teaching staffs of our university. Young and efficient, very active personality who has been an inspiration for all students and all faculties. Now I heartily welcome you to deliver your keynote address, sir.
Thank you, Deepa, ma'am, and very happy. And it was very good that normally people will thought of execution of the event for the faculty members, execution of the events for the students. So this is what the major department which is taking care. In that, the initially started with the our H&S campus phase 2. They started with the execution of the event for the non-teaching, and now the Faculty of Engineering and Technology first year, which is a 3-day skill development program to enhance your professional skills of the non-teaching. So how important non-teaching is there, that is what we already under our association, Magic Association, we have a non-teaching, we call it as a non-teaching association also. So through that non-teaching association, we are already communicating, we are already executing lot of programs for last 2-3 years. Maybe some of the faculty, some of the non-teaching, those who are here not in our NGR. So I would like to little tell about our plan of action. So we have a association called Magic, MGR Association for Great Innovative Creators. So this Magic Association will have the independent association for all the department. Engineering and Technology first year have his own association. English department have own association. Physics have own association. Like that, it is there. Any activities, any events will be coming under that association activities. Yes, when this part which is going on, we thought of to do some contribution and to do enhance the skills of the non-teaching. We thought of connecting all non-teaching through a forum called a association or some clubs like that. So around 300 non-teaching faculty, staff members are connected in that group. And 3 years back, it started fantastically, and around 20 events with the support of all departments executed under the Magic Association. Through that, every year we are giving the connecting certificate also. So what it means is that we have a concept of uh, any staff members who participated more than 3 event will receive a certificate. So that is the concept which we have, and the every end of the year, our president will give the certificate for the more contributors. So we had a wonderful experience. Some of the staff members also now also there to witness that. Maybe a Professor Clement from SRM, he done a fantastic job by the entertainment through English. So like that, lot of things are there. So that is one part which our association, under the association which we are doing. And the same part, now the department started already that there is a 2-part. Department will give lot of session related to their, for example, if it is a mechanical department will give training for a non-teaching in the mechanical department, their softwares and all. Like that, it is going on. What our magic will do is the common for all. So magic is common for all. Each department will do. Now it is the, because of the corona pandemic situation, now it is a common for all. So the all departments started initiative, and I appreciate the Faculty of Engineering and Technology first year, Subhashri ma'am, and appreciate the English department, Dean, HOD, and all the coordinators who taken initiative to connect 4 speakers with 4 different style of content which is to be delivered to the our non-teaching staff members, because it is very important. If non-teaching are very strong, and that will help us to execute the work in time. That is what which I feel, because the most of, see, it is the priority will be like that only. For example, the head will be there, and head will communicate to HOD will communicate to the next level faculty members will communicate, share the work to the non-teaching. So this is what the way of operation. In that, if the non-teachings will able to deliver a very beautiful contribution. Let us example, I will tell you, if a non-teaching can able to come out with a design work, Photoshop work, or some design work, or some skills, writing skills, can able to write a communication letter. It is very easy for the department faculty to go fast the work. That is the reason. See, if non-teaching are strong, the work will be very fast in the department. Whether it will be connected with the, because I feel personally, when I am in the HOD of EEE department also, I feel because in there 2-3 non-teaching staff members are very dynamic, and with their support, no, so the we can able to go the work very fast. So that is the reason. Now this all the skill development courses will help us to enhance the the proud, what it means, that confidence will be improved. That is the main thing. When the non-teaching confidence will be improved, automatically the next level, they will go to the next level. It is good. It is a good sign. I request the all other department also to follow and take initiative to go ahead with the non-teaching staff members events, and the non-teaching also you can suggest what type of events you needed, so that based on that we can suggest to the departments to go ahead with the activities. So thank you for inviting me. I hope you last 2 days you all enjoyed the session. Today also good speakers are there. So they will be going to be with you for another 1 hour or 2 hours. So enjoy the session and improve your skills. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Subhashri, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for the energetic.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Ramesh, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Good evening, Subhashri, ma'am.
Deepa, ma'am.
Oh, sorry, my mic is mute. Sorry. Thank you so much, Ramesh, sir. Now I invite Mr. Vasantan, Assistant Professor, Department of English, to give a welcome address.
Thank you, Deepa. Good evening to one and all present here. It's my immense pleasure to welcome all of you assembled here in this online platform for the skill development program on revitalizing your professional skills. First of all, in this welcome session, let me thank our Honorable Founder Chairman, ACS Shanmugam, respectable President Engineer ACS Arun Kumar, our profound Vice Chancellor Dr. Geeta Lakshmi, Provost Dr. G. Gopalakrishnan, Registrar Dr. C.B. Palanivelu, and the management team for giving this opportunity to our department to organize this skill development program to develop the skills of non-teaching staff. In this auspicious day, I wholeheartedly welcome our elegant Joint Registrar, Dr. D.B. Jabaraj, and precious and supporting Dean ENS, Dr. N.S. Subhashri, for the skill development program. With great enthusiasm, I would like to extend my welcome to the enthusiastic guest, Dr. N. Ramesh, Dean ENS. It's my privilege to welcome today's speakers and the strength of the Department of English, Dr. Mary Thomas, Dean English, and Dr. Chandrasena Rajeshwaran, Head, Department of English. Last but not the least, I also like to welcome all the faculty and the participants of the skill development program. Once again, I welcome one and all present here. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Vasan sir, for your welcome address. And now I call Ms. K. Gayatri, Assistant Professor, Department of English, to introduce our first chief guest. Gayatri ma'am?
Yes, ma'am, I'm here.
Okay.
A very good afternoon to one and all present here. I'm profusely overjoyed to take the opportunity to introduce our chief guest of the day. Our first speaker will be Dr. Mary Thomas, Dean, Department of English, Dr. MGR Educational and Research Institute. In prior, ma'am have worked as Associate Professor of English in Vellamal Engineering College, Chennai. Dr. Mary Thomas is a dynamic and articulate English professional with a passion for teaching, writing, and public speaking. Ma'am have always committed to achieve maximum results from her students, whether it be exam or other extracurricular activities. Ma'am did her PhD in English from Loyola College, focusing on the thesis titled Constructing New Identities to Transform the Matrix of Global Perspective on Women in the year 2011. And ma'am have cleared her SLET examination in the year 2000. And ma'am did her MPhil in English from the University of Madras in the year 1996. And ma'am have completed her MEd from the University of Madras in the year 1994. And MBA from the University of Madras in the year 1992. And ma'am have did her Master of Arts in English from Stella Maris College in the year 1987 and Bachelor of Arts in English from Stella Maris in the year 1982. Ma'am have presented papers in national and international conferences and has published articles in journals and has delivered speeches at international and national symposium. And ma'am have gained 23 years of experience in her career. And ma'am have guided many MPhil scholars and PhD scholars. And I'm very proud to say ma'am have been a guide for my MPhil research as well. So I take this opportunity to denote my gratitude through Malala Yousafzai's quote. I quote, "One child, one teacher, one book, one pen can change the world." I unquote. And there's no doubt ma'am have always influenced us, the students, to learn, to write, to stand up to the world. I wholeheartedly welcome you, ma'am, for today's session. Thank you, ma'am.
so much. Thank you so much, Gayatri, for this lovely introduction. Thank you.
My pleasure, ma'am. My pleasure.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Gayatri ma'am. As you said, she is an apt resource person for this session.
Thank
And
you.
Yes,
now I cordially invite Dr. Mary Thomas ma'am to take over this session.
Okay. So,
Ma'am, shall I present?
yes, sir. You can present the first slide.
Okay.
Yes. I take this opportunity to thank our president, RACS Arun Kumar, and our management, and especially Dr. N.S. Subasri, Dean ENDIS, for giving me this opportunity to take this session for you this afternoon. So, and I thank, and I feel like, I have to tell you that I'm so thrilled to be here in spite of us all being huddled at home. And in spite of this uncertain situation that surrounds us, we are still ready to learn. So, Vasan sir,
Yes, ma'am.
can you display the first slide?
Is it right, ma'am? The slide is visible?
No, it's not visible.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
yes,
Yeah.
it's visible, ma'am. You pin to Vasan sir's screen to be visible.
Okay. Okay, it's not visible, but I can still speak. Okay. Now, what I wanted to say is that I'm Mary
Ma'am.
Thomas.
Ma'am,
Yes.
ma'am, you can pin my slide, ma'am, in the 1 minute.
Okay.
You pin Vasan sir's name, ma'am.
I will use
His name. If you pin his name, you will get the screen. There will be two screens, ma'am. One with his photo, another one with the your slide.
Yeah. So where is his?
1 minute, ma'am. 1 minute.
Yeah. That
Ma'am.
one with the photo.
Ma'am, you just unpin yours. I guess you pin your screen there. You click on your center of the screen.
Yeah.
There you are having a pin button, right? You just click that and you just see all the whole screen of ours.
The pin.
Yes, ma'am. At the center of the screen there are three symbols: pin, mic, and a minus symbol. I'll share now, ma'am. Wait a minute. Very ma'am, is it visible now?
Yes, visible, visible.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Visible it is, sir.
Deepa ma'am, check whether ma'am is clear.
Ma'am is in mute actually.
Ma'am, ma'am,
Gurish
Mary
ma'am.
ma'am, you please unmute your ma'am, Mary ma'am, please unmute ma'am.
Mary ma'am is here, but I don't think
She can hear
She's,
Mary
she
ma'am.
has muted actually.
Now it's okay.
But again, I think when I unmuted, Vasant's slides have
Ma'am,
gone off the screen.
ma'am, no problem, ma'am. You continue. He
I'll
will
continue. Okay.
change the slide according to your
Speech, yes, ma'am.
Vasantan
Yes,
sir,
ma'am.
that can be done, right?
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. I will do, ma'am. I will do.
Continue. Okay.
For us, it is visible. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So, like, what I wanted to say is that I'm so happy that all of you have gathered here. All of us have gathered here at these uncertain times, and we continue to learn. So, I am Mary Thomas, your English fluency coach for this afternoon. And I welcome you on flight Boeing 707 from Dr. MGR University. And I'll be your pilot this afternoon. And we have so many of our flight attendants from the English department. And I'm so happy that you are here. And I have just one or two safety measures to tell you all. Safety instructions that I give you on your flight. On this flight, I will be speaking only in English, and I will not resort to other native tongues, because my session for today is tips to speak fluent English, or how to enhance your English speaking skills. So please come aboard flight 707 from Dr. MGR University, and please join me, and with the safety measure, speak in English, sing in English, enjoy yourself in English. So I welcome each one of you to this afternoon's session. So let's go on to the next slide.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, learn English the fun way. I always found that as an English fluency coach, I found that teaching English, like teaching other subjects, would not work out. And I always felt that we should learn English the fun way, because English is a beautiful language. And learning English the fun way is a very positive, optimistic method. So English should be imbibed, not learned. As you all know, we cannot just learn English. We can't by heart it. It has to just seep into our systems. So that is why I'm saying that if you learn it in a very entertaining manner, then you will never ever forget. So what I want to tell you is we should let go of all our inhibitions, and don't worry if you're making mistakes, and if you make mistakes. Speak the language and use the language as much as we can. And when I said that in the safety instructions on the flight 707, nobody speaks any other language but English, is because, see, the 5 tips that I'm giving you here that I want to share with you is this. See, we should learn to observe and copy people who talk good English. So you should listen to speeches of people talking in well-versed English. Only then we can observe and copy. Even today, most of my time, free time, I spent watching speeches of great speakers on the TV, on the YouTube, on Netflix. I keep observing people talking, and I'm able to imitate and emulate what they're saying. So I really enjoy listening. And the more we start listening to speakers speaking good English, you can copy what and you can imitate. And the next point is, these are small tips. You must speak as much as you can, you must try your level best to speak as much as you can in English. Okay? Don't resort to your native tongue. We are all native language lovers. We come from different regions, but still try your best to speak as much as you can in English. And don't be intimidated. Don't be intimidated. Don't be nervous. Don't be timid. I want to share with you one thing. I was also a very timid person, and I'm still a very timid person. But when people can intimidate me, but the problem is I overcome that. I overcome that nervousness and timidity. So I find that all of us, we have different kinds of natures. We have different kinds of natures, but we have to just overcome that. Sometimes we are tongue-tied. We do not know what to say. But people will be there trying to take advantage of us because we are not able to speak. So let go of all your inhibitions and speak. And the next tip that I always give my students is, every passage that we read, there is a certain rhythm, there is a style, there is a beauty to that passage. I feel that you must just overwhelm yourself with that beauty in that passage, and you just have to immerse yourself in that passage, and the rhythmic lines in that passage will speak to you, and you will be able to emulate it. That's what happens when we hear a song, when we hear a poem. We want to repeat it, we want to recite it, we want to sing it. So what I am telling each one of you is, don't be nervous, don't be timid about talking in English. The more you listen to English, the more you come across these passages and songs and poems, you will get over your inhibitions. And this is the time that we can imbibe and learn. So learn in fun chunks. See, you cannot learn everything at one moment or one step, because I always tell my the students whom I train, I tell them, see, it's not like eating a mushroom. Have you read the book Alice in Wonderland? In Alice in Wonderland, she eats a piece of a mushroom and she becomes tall. Then she nibbles on it and she becomes a small pygmy-sized doll. So it's not possible to learn everything and just magically, transform ourselves, overnight. But we can do it if we are determined. So here I am going to motivate you today. I'm going to motivate you and encourage you to speak in English wherever you are. Okay, and people will be really impressed. So learn in fun chunks. Whatever you can, you learn in fun chunks. Okay, chunks of language, chunks of music, chunks of poetry. Learn it, and I'm sure you can overcome all the obstacles that stand in your way to speaking well in English. Vasil sir, can we go on to the next slide?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
One? Yeah.
Yes.
And actually, as an English fluency coach, I have, put up some ways in which we have to learn English, formulated some ways in which to learn English. And these are the ways which I use to coach the students as an English fluency coach. Easy ways to learn English. That is, the first one that I resort to, and the most the lovable one, which I love because I love music and song, is learn English through lyrics and song. The second one is, you can learn English through stories. Every life is a story. You all understand, right? There is a story, and every life is a story unfolding itself. So learn English through stories. Then I ask my students to learn English through poetry and rhyme. See, poetry is the music of life, and the rhyme scheme in every poem, it can really, what to say, gravitate towards us. You can just imbibe it, and you can memorize it. Then the next is learn English through drama and role play. Through drama.
I'm sorry.
Ma'am, sorry for the interruption, ma'am. Rebecca, ma'am, kindly mute your audio.
Bhuvaneshwar ma'am. Bhuvaneshwar ma'am.
Some kind of interruption,
Without
some kind of disruption happening.
Rebecca, ma'am, kindly mute your audio.
So here we find that when we learn English, see, drama, as Aristotle said, art is a reflection of life, and drama is a reflection of life. And through drama, through role play, taking roles of a play and speaking parts, you can learn English. And you can learn English through advertisements. I tell you from personal experience, if I'm traveling on the road, it is not the car that I'm driving that I'm looking at, but I'm looking at all the hoardings. But now I think hoardings are banned. So when I see hoardings in newspapers, when I see hoardings in magazines, it really, attracts my attention. So I find that, advertisements are a good way to learn English because they have everything in it. They have drama, they have stories, they have lyrics, and they have role play. And so it's so interesting, and we can learn English through advertisements. Another great source of learning English that I tell my students, is that they can learn English through movies. There are such wonderful movies that you can watch, and you can learn to speak well in English. See, if you want to learn a new language, first you have to listen to that language. So when I love to learn Hindi, and whenever I see a wonderful Hindi movie, I watch it so that at least I'll be able to speak Hindi when I go to the north. All right. So see, you can learn so much of English through English movies. And the next one, these are some easy ways to learn English. And the last one is learn English through reading magazines and newspapers. That can never be shunned. Newspapers and magazines, whether it's online or whether it's in your mobile, you can read these magazines and newspapers and enhance your speaking skills. So these are some ways in which we can learn English. Okay. So let's go on to the next slide, the fourth one.
yes, ma'am.
Now, this session, because it's a very short session and I can't give examples of every way that we can speak better and be fluent in English, I just wanted
Sir, reference, sir.
Wait a
Nasim,
minute.
sir.
Wait.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Okay. So what happens here? Here I am to tell you that this session is going to focus on song, and I'm going to help you to sing your way to speaking better English. So for this session, it is purely entertainment, all right? And it is through entertainment that you're going to learn to speak and get some hints to improve your speaking skills in English, all right? So let's enjoy ourselves and learn the nuances of language. It's so beautiful. And the world, if you learn this, and if you learn to speak the nuances of language, the world will always be in awe of you, will be impressed. All right? So let's sing this number. Okay? So this number is something that I teach as an English fluency coach to my students. And this number is a very beautiful number because it is a song sung by an orphan girl, okay, who lives in a convent. And she stays, and this convent is in a mountain. This convent is in a mountain. And we find that she gets a job as a governess. Okay, she gets a job as a governess, and she goes to this big huge mansion to teach these students. And this is the first song that she teaches them. All right. And that is why I wanted to, because I wanted to share this with you, because I felt that this session also, I have to share something which is close to my heart with each one of you, especially during these pressing times of the COVID-19, you know. So I just wanted to start at the very beginning. And I'm telling you, this is a very good place to start. When we read, we begin with A, B, C. But when we sing, we begin with Do, Re, Mi, Do, Re, Mi. The first three notes just happen to be Do, Re, Mi. You can repeat after me, all right? We go on to the next slide. And these are the lyrics for you. Because in this short session, I think it's just half an hour, I can only share some part of the lyrics, all right? So what we really learn is when we imbibe English through song and lyrics teaches us English unconsciously, the fun way. And this session is an interactive session. You know, at the end of this session, I would like to listen to you actually singing these songs, all right? So it teaches us to be happy, it teaches us to be joyous, and the most important part is it teaches us grammatical components and, most important, pronunciation, different sentence structures, and vocabulary. So that is why I wanted to begin this session with a very simple song, which you can repeat after me, all right? And sing after me. And later on, you can sing it at home in front of the mirror, and you can practice it. You can sing it to your family. You can sing it to your neighbors and your friends. So it's a simple song. So we sing this. Do, a deer, a female deer, Ray, a drop of golden sun. Me, a name I call myself, far, a longer way to run. So, a needle pulling thread, La, a note to follow song. Tea, I drink with jam and bread, that will bring us back to do, oh, 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 do. Okay, we sing again. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Let's sing together again. Do, a deer, a female deer, Ray, a drop of golden sun. Me, a name I call myself, far, a longer way to run. So, a needle pulling thread, La, a note to follow song. Tea, I drink with jam and bread, that will bring us back to do, oh, 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 do, a deer. Okay, so we go on to the next slide, and I'll tell you. See, if it's a virtual class, and I can't hear you singing, but I would just love you to listen to this song, Do a Deer. And this is from the movie, the great musical, The Sound of Music. So if you go to The Sound of Music and you Google Do a Deer, you will be able to get this song, okay? So let's go on to the next slide. Okay. So we aspects of language in a song. Now, this song, Do a Deer, you said do a deer, a female deer, okay? Now, as I told you, learning a song improves your pronunciation. It introduces you to chunks of language, components, and grammatical coherence. So in one stroke, when we learn a song, we learn all these things, all right? So as an English fluency coach, I tell my students that through a song, you can learn all these aspects of language. And it also introduces you to new structures, new words, and so many new words, vocabulary. For example, if you see in this song, do, a deer, a female deer. Okay, do, D-O-E, do, you say, you know, like, is a female deer. But when you hear the word do, okay, it sounds like open the door, close the door, all right? It sounds like that, isn't it? So it has the same sound. And also the dough, okay, the dough that we need for bread and chapatis and all the yummy food, okay, the rotis, all that is dough, D-O-U-G-H. So with one word dough, which sounds similar to other words, we learn new words, okay? And dough is a wonderful poetic word used by poets to describe the eyes of their heroines. You know, they say the eyes are doe-eyed, all right? So we find that from a word, we can learn so much. We can learn so much. And that also, when it is a song, it enthralls us. Ray is a sunbeam. Okay, it's a ray. It's a ray of sunshine. Okay. And so, now so, it sounds like S-O. But this sew is S-E-S-E-W, which means to stitch. All right. And as I told you, it sounds like sow. It sounds like sow also when we plant something. As farmers, you know, we love gardening, right? So we go out and we plant, we sow.
Excuse me, ma'am. 1 second, ma'am.
Yeah.
Jayanti madam is presenting.
Okay.
So, I think, the host, please see that she is not presenting. Madam,
Okay,
while
ma'am.
recording, please pin Vasantan sir. Now, please pin Vasantan sir screen, ma'am. Then only you will get the screen on the recording.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll continue, Subhasri.
Bhuneshwari, ma'am. Yes,
Oh,
ma'am, you can
yes,
continue.
Okay. Thank you, Subhasri. Thank you so much. There are such disruptions in the virtual class, and I really sometimes experience them. Now, so the sound, can you tell me what does it sound like? Doesn't it sound like S-O, so? It's so cold, it's so hot. So, when you sow a seed, you know, so that's S-O-W. So that's what I'm saying. When we sing a word and when we say a word, the word has infinite meaning and there are so many words which have the same sound but different meanings. So as you know, this song is a song that is taught first. So the meanings are made clear in the song itself. And we repeat every line and we learn the song and we practice at home. See, one more thing that I want to tell you as an English fluency coach is we cannot speak English overnight. It's not like eating a magic potion or drinking a magic potion or eating a mushroom. We have to practice. We have to practice because it is practice that makes perfect. Please understand. It is practice that makes perfect. Even today, I practice speaking. I practice speaking because as a teacher, as you all know, we have to stand in front of our students and speak for hours. And now we have to be at home and speak to our students. We have to do programs from home. We have to coach trainees from home. So we find that, you know, we have to practice. Practice makes perfect. So I would love you to motivate yourself to practice at home in front of a mirror. In front of a mirror, you can stand and you can play this song, you can sing it, And you can also do a role play with this song. You know, you can take the role of Maria is called the orphan girl, and you can take the role of Maria, and you can take the role of the students. It will improve your ability to pronounce the words, because in English, pronunciation is very important. As you sing along, you learn to pronounce the words also. See, it helps your vocabulary, and you learn so many new words. You know, it might be a very simple song, but you learn so much from that song. That's why I have chosen this as an English fluency coach, as my first component for my students. It helps your vocabulary to grow immensely. All right. So now we go on to the next slide. Vasant sir, can we have the next slide?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Now, this is the why I wanted to tell you about nature of song is it empathizes with us. When we are happy, you know, it makes us happy. When we are sorrowful, you know, it purges our sadness. All right. And the next song that I'm doing for you is something that during this time, you know, all of us, sometimes we are away from our loved ones because of the COVID pandemic, and we cannot be together. Husband is in one place, the wife is in another place. And this song is for a wife who's yearning for her husband. Okay. And so she sings this song, and it's a beautiful song. And learning this song, you can, you know, improve your pronunciation. You can improve your enunciation. Okay. So I will sing it for you. My Bonnie lies over the ocean. My Bonnie lies over the sea. My Bonnie lies over the ocean. Oh, bring back my Bonnie to me, to me. Oh, bring back, oh, bring back, oh, bring back my Bonnie to me. Okay, let's do it once again. My Bonnie lies over the ocean. My Bonnie lies over the sea. My Bonnie lies over the ocean. Oh, bring back my Bonnie to me. Oh, bring back, oh, bring back, oh, bring back my Bonnie to me, to me. Okay, this is a beautiful song. It talks about how a lover wants a beloved back. All right. And so the words which rhyme, which sound so similar, it's like a tongue twister. Oh, bring back, oh, bring back, oh, bring back my Bonnie to me. Okay. So it is a long song, but because of the constraint of time, I will just sing this only. I will just leave you with this verse. And I'm sure that you can sing it to your family at home and to your friends. Okay, it's a beautiful. Next one is a very lively number. Okay, and this is something that I do with all my students in English fluency coaching, and they really enjoy it because most of them are young hearts. Okay, young at heart. Okay, we have adult learners. We have so many different age groups, but you know, all of us are young at heart, right? Only being young at heart, we can be teachers and we can be students. Okay, so here, this is a very lively number. And this is a story behind this song. All right, it's a very simple song, but this song is about two young people, a young boy and a girl. Okay, they're working on a farm, and the boy is very much in love with the girl. Okay, he admires the girl. He wants to talk to her. All right, he wants to start a conversation, but he's a very shy, timid boy like me. All right, and he doesn't know how to start a conversation. So what he does is he wants to ask her something to do with the farm. So he finds a bucket in the farm which has a hole. All right, so he says, "There's a hole in the bucket, dear Liza." Okay, the boy's name is Henry and the girl's name is Liza. "There's a hole in the bucket, dear Liza, dear Liza. There's a hole in the bucket, dear Liza, a hole." Okay, and then Liza says, then she also is interested in him. She's listening to him. Okay, so she answers, "Then mend it, dear Henry, dear Henry, dear Henry. Then mend it, dear Henry, dear Henry. Then mend it. then he says, he doesn't want to just end the conversation, right? Okay, he says, with what shall I mend it, dear Liza, dear Liza? With what shall I mend it, dear Liza? With what? Okay, then, and she says, she's so frustrated with this fellow because he doesn't know, he's asking her so many questions. She says, with a string, dear Henry, dear Henry, dear Henry, with a string, dear Henry, dear Henry, with a string, all right? And here I have actually purposely introduced the word string because you cannot mend a bucket with a string. So I'm asking you, the audience, so what will Henry mend the bucket with? Can anyone tell me? You know, can you really mend a bucket with a string? Okay. And one more thing I wanted to share with you during the earlier song is you can, when I said you could learn in chunks, you can substitute the words, okay, in the song. My Bonnie lies over the ocean. You can say my hubby lies over the ocean. Okay, you can substitute the words. So that is how you learn in chunks. And here also, we will substitute the word string for, and we will substitute it with the word straw. Okay, straw. Straw is, as you all know, is dry hay, and hay is found in the farm everywhere. Okay, so actually it is straw, but I purposely put it as string because I wanted to tell you how a word can be substituted. Okay, with a straw, dear Henry, with straw. Okay, and she goes on saying, and they both go on singing with each other, you know. And the next part is, he says, the straw is too long, dear Liza, dear Liza. The straw is too long, dear Liza, too long. Then she's so irritated with this boy. She says, then cut it, dear Henry, dear Henry, dear Henry. Then cut it, dear Henry, dear Henry. Then cut it. And then Henry says, with what shall I cut it, dear Liza, dear Liza? With what shall I cut it, dear Liza? With what? And she says, with a knife, dear Henry, dear Henry, dear Henry. With a knife, dear Henry, with a knife. Then he says, the knife is too blunt, dear Liza, dear Liza. So blunt, it's not sharp, okay? The knife is too blunt, dear Liza, dear Liza. Too blunt. Then sharpen it, dear Henry, dear Henry, dear Henry. Then sharpen it, dear Henry, dear Henry. Then sharpen it. And she says, with what shall I sharpen it, dear Liza, dear Liza? With what shall I sharpen it, dear Liza? Dear Liza, with what? On a stone, dear Henry, dear Henry, dear Henry. With a stone, dear Henry, with a stone. And he says, the stone is too dry, dear Liza, dear Liza. The stone is too dry, dear Liza, too dry. Then wet it, dear Henry, dear Henry, dear Henry. Then wet it, dear Henry, dear Henry. Then wet it. Then she says, with what shall I wet it, dear Liza, dear Liza? With water, dear Henry, dear Henry, dear Henry, with water. Then at last he says, there's a hole in the bucket, dear Liza, dear Liza. There's a hole in the bucket, dear Liza. A hole. Thank you for listening patiently. And so that is how we repeat and learn to speak better. So that is why I said we can sing our way to speaking better English. I'm so confident of that. So shall we go on to the next slide, Vasant sir?
Yes, ma'am.
So next slide is songs uplift your spirits. It's all about singing today because it's a very short session. It's just half an hour. And I am going to uplift your spirits. However, darkened they may be during these times of pandemic. I feel I just uplift my spirits listening to music and song. It makes my heart so happy. I can just get immersed in music. It drives away the blues and the dark clouds of uncertainties that hang over our heads and make us tap our feet and sing along, you know. Whether you can sing or whether you can't sing, you know, you can just get immersed in music. And as I told you, my experience as an English fluency coach has been very uplifting and fulfilling for me, okay? And it's only the constraint of time that causes me to share with you very few numbers of songs, okay, and rhymes, because I would have loved to share with you many more songs, and especially rhymes and poems that I love. But I'm sure that at home, okay, as you sit at home, you can do these songs. You can sing these songs. You can do them as role play with your friends and families. You can take parts and sing along. And if you go to the net, you will find all these songs. The Doe Deer, My Bonnie Lies Over the Ocean, you know, There's a Hole in the Bucket. All these songs are found there, you know. So you can, you know, when you sing along, you can learn to speak English. That is what I'm trying to say. So that is what I'm so confident about, you know. It's so beautiful. So you can learn to speak through song, my dear friends, from my heart, I'm telling you. So the next one. And you know, music and song create a rapport with the learner. You know, I can be moved to tears with music and song. You know, I can just get immersed, you know, and forget time. Okay, a song creates a massive rapport. You know, you want to create a rapport with somebody, sing him a song. If you want to create a rapport with your students, you know, teach them a song. You know, a song, especially a student learning language. If you want to create a rapport with that person, you know, sing them a song. A song creates a massive rapport with a language learner. The language learner is enthused to go on and to do a role play with songs they have learned. I have seen it. He or she is thrilled that they can speak fluently, but not only speak fluently, but even sing, you know, in English. So the last number is a famous song, and I'm sure all of you will love it because I've just added it here for your joy, for you to enjoy today's afternoon session. And so, as I have not much time left with you, you know, and I have improvised a bit with this song. It is called Come to Chennai, Come to Chennai. It's my own improvisation of, you know, you've heard the song Bombay Mary High, all right? It's a songs teach you. And one more thing that I would like to share with all of you is, I hope I'm not too fast because I'm running short of time, I think, you know. So songs teach you accents, all right? And you can, you know, you can imbibe accents. You know, you can imbibe any accent you want by learning a song. American, British, Irish, Australian, Indian, English accents as well. You can imbibe anything. So for you, especially today, for this wonderful, beautiful audience today, you know, I have this special number. Okay, I hope you enjoy it. So we go on to the next slide. So here, so songs teach you accents as well. So for this crowd of listeners, especially, I'm going to sing a song, both in Indian English accent and British English accent. So, and I want you to repeat after me, all right? Idli dosa, potato bonda, masala vade, chicken biryani, paya curry, and with fillet. If you're looking for a swell holiday, come to Chennai, Chennai, Mary, hey. Okay? So you'll repeat? Okay, after me. Idli dosa, potato bonda, masala vade, chicken biryani, paya curry, and with fillet. If you're looking for a swell holiday, come to Chennai, Chennai, Mary, hey. Mac, 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 Chennai, Mary, hey. Mac, 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 Chennai, Mary, hey. Ladies are fine, men are full of spice. Come to Chennai, Chennai, Mary, hey. Come to Chennai, Chennai, Mary, hey. Repeat after me. Appadi podal. Paathu poya. Okay. Idli dosa, potato bonda, masala vade, chicken biryani, paya curry, and bitile. If you're looking for a swell holiday, come to Chennai, Chennai, Mary, hey. Okay. So I am Mary Thomas, your English fluency coach for this afternoon session. And my dear audience, I hope you learned a lot and you enjoyed yourself thoroughly. I hope you all enjoyed the session thoroughly, and I'm just waiting to hear from all of you singing these songs and speaking English fluently. Mary Thomas, your English fluency coach, signing off. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It's really interesting to hear songs from you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
And thank you so much for the interesting session, how to learn English easily through songs and lyrics, ma'am.
Yes, that is what I tell my students. This is something which is very close to my heart, and I want to share it with the world.
I really enjoyed it, and I think participants also enjoyed.
Yeah, especially for them. It's especially for this audience of today.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, audience, for listening. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed being with you here. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Bye. Have a lovely time. Take care and be safe. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. My flight attendants, and I'm just leaving the plane, flight 707, Boeing 707. I thank my flight attendants and Dean Yendis and the Subasri. Thank you.
Thank you for dropping us safely, ma'am.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ma'am, since you will not be here, we sincerely place our thanks to you. Place in record our thanks to you, ma'am. Thanks for that entertaining song.
Thank you.
And happy journeys, ma'am.
Yes, thank you. So your pilot taking off. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.
Have a lovely safe time.
Okay, ma'am. So now
Thank
I
you
call.
for the session, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Now I call Ms. K. Gayatri to introduce our second chief guest.
A very good evening, ma'am. It's my immense pleasure to introduce our next speaker, Dr. M. Chandrasena Rajeshwaran, ma'am, Head Department of English, Dr. MGR Educational and Research Institute. In prior, ma'am have worked in Punjab University and Anna University. Ma'am did her doctorate in English. She has been teaching ESL and ESP for more than 2 decades. Developing students' oral communication skill in the higher educational context is a passion. Ma'am's area of interest is applied linguistics and pragmatics in communication. And ma'am has 6 Scopus for Web of Science publication to her credit, and therefore we call her Scopus Queen. She has 20 an odd international journal publication and equal number of publication in conference proceedings. She has co-authored English textbook for students of math, humanities and science and technology stream. She writes poem in English, and ma'am have trained many MPhil scholars under her guidance, and ma'am has gained 23 years of experience in her career. And ma'am have gained membership from English Language Teachers Association of India and Madras Literary Society, ResearchGate, Google Scholar. And ma'am have been elected member of European Centre of Research Training and Development, UK. And it's been clear that we have experienced person to enhance us on the topic English for personal rapport. We wholeheartedly welcome you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for this wonderful introduction.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, guys. As I said, she's such an
Welcome,
eminent personality. And now I cordially invite Dr. Chandrasena Rajeshwaran, ma'am, to take over the session.
Sure. Good evening, everyone present here. I thank God Almighty and our university management for this blissful today. I thank Dr. N. Subasri Ms. Shubhashri for this thoughtful session. She made all meticulous arrangements to make this session a great success. I also record my thanks to Dr. D.B. Jabarat, our joint registrar E&S, for the valuable support he has been extending in all our endeavors made by the Department of English. I welcome the non-teaching and teaching faculty present in this session, and I hope whatever I communicate in this session will be of some help to develop your English and also to develop the rapport among yourselves in the professional community wherein you are placed with the kind of knowledge that you have in English. Yes, I shall present my views.
Shall I present the screen, ma'am?
No, 1 second.
Okay, ma'am.
My topic, English for personal rapport, is the need of the hour. It is an apt necessity for today's today's changed circumstances in society and our academic environment. Post COVID-19, we are to face a new normal where you can find the old world habits, where we may not find the old world habits and customs. Keeping social distance and wearing face masks is going to be the new norm. So, only what you speak has to touch the people around. For the kind of the professional environment and academic environment we are placed in, the medium of communication can only be English because we need to interact with heterogeneous people, students and teachers by virtue of their mother tongue, culture and education. Moreover, the culture around is having an image. This image we assume that we can create by using English in communication. Let us see how are we going to do it. First, let me define what is personal rapport. The friendship that you maintain with people around is personal rapport. But why is it through English? I told you, you are interacting with so many different kinds of people, maybe the teachers, students, if you are in the office for administrative reasons. If you are in the lab, you need to have a watch on the students and you need to interact with them. Mainly, you need to give instructions for the use of the instruments in the lab and the smooth conduct of the lab sessions. So that is the main area of your work. Okay. So that is what I assume it to be. Okay. In that kind of context, we need only certain kind of usage of the English. Okay. Because in the academic context wherein you are placed in our university, you need to use English for some selected purposes, and so it is not going to be that difficult to manage speaking English with the students, and especially when they are the newcomers in the university. Okay. Sir, sir, you can present the slides, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Shall I start, sir? Okay, as you know, English is the global language. Why is it called global language? Because wherever you go, if you go outside Tamil Nadu, you will be using mainly English only. Only through English you can communicate because English is the official link language for an indefinite period as declared by Nehru in 1966. And moreover, it is very easy to communicate with the people because mostly we come into contact with people who are educated, and it is easy to communicate with them in English. And this spurt in English, the learning English and to create an image through English is the phenomena only from 1995 because of the global opportunities that have been introduced in this world. Because medium and for the professional students and for the academic institution wherein we are working, the medium of instruction is English. And many students come from the different parts of India, and we need to speak only in English to make ourselves understood. And moreover, knowing English is definitely gives you a firm stand to determine your career prospects. Yesterday, on the other day, Dr. Kanya was saying that she was working as, she entered the university as a lab assistant or lab technician. I do not, but I'm, yes, she was in lab executive, and because of her rapport, the rapport that she built around, not only with her knowledge but also with her behavior, with her performance in the office, she is now elevated to the kind of position that she is. She is now the HOD of IT in our university. You can emulate the model of her when you think about using the language for career prospects. Okay, sir, the next slide. We think that there is a myth, there is a myth that people think speaking in English is difficult. Only people who learn through the medium of English alone can speak in English. That is not at all true. You can speak in English even if your instruction was in mixed medium. Maybe you did your English, you did your learning through Tamil or regional medium till you reached your plus two, and in plus two you might have done your English medium. After plus two you might have done in English medium undergraduate courses, but it is not going to be a barrier. So the language, the learning a little bit of English may make a lot of difference in your communication. And only thing you require is the motivation, the aptitude, the attitude to use the language for communication. As Mary Ma'am was telling, you have to use the language wherever it is possible. You must seek for an opportunity to speak the language, because only speaking will help you to speak English. It is like, walking is a good exercise. By walking, you shed off your excess fat. So this is how things are going on. By speaking, you will learn to speak English. You find the mistake that you make on your own, and you will check your language, and you will definitely improve your language if you speak. Only when you speak, you will know your own self. As yesterday, Dr. Udaykala ma'am was saying, knowing the self here is knowing the proficiency level of your English. Okay. Now, okay. So, speaking English is not difficult, as I have suggested, because when you are put in a situation wherein when you think that you have to speak only in English, and you will speak only in English, if you decide, if you are very firm on your commitment to speak English, you will definitely speak in English. I tell you why. Because man is a social animal. Who is a social? Man is a social animal because man cannot live alone. He needs to express. He needs to express his views and ideas. He just can't keep aloof. He has to communicate. The communication can happen only through the language. When you speak the language, when the other person also can understand the language you speak, and you have become communicative. What you speak can be understood by the other person, and if you are able to speak English and the other person is able to understand what is your English, then absolutely there cannot be any problem. And for this purpose, we say we get engaged in conversations. So conversation is the basic. To speak with your neighbor in the office, to speak with the student who has come to ask for some help. Maybe he has come to pay the fees, or in a lab, he needs to use certain instrument. So you are there to speak with the people in the language they speak. Usually in the lab and in the classroom, the students don't use Tamil or the regional language. They use only English. That is the given instruction. So you need to speak in English to should to keep your image. Okay, so this conversation, keeping yourself engaged in conversation is not that easy initially, but once you are get accustomed to the use of language in conversation, it is going to be easy. I tell you how. So our day-to-day mundane, it is a conversation. If you are adamant and stubborn to use only in English in your conversations, nobody can change your conviction in the use of language. When you speak in English, others will automatically come to you and they will speak only in English. Okay, that is the first step. And then by conversation, what is conversation? Conversation is speaking with one or two people. You are there to discuss so many things. Okay, it is for personal rapport. That is the basic interpersonal communication, day-to-day English, or academic or professional interaction, whatever it is. It can easily happen with the conversation. But this conversation is complex. It is not that easy, not only in English, but also in your mother tongue. Conversation as such, if you speak more than what is required, or if you are not specific with your ideas, or if you don't interact with the conversational partner, a conversation cannot happen in the void, in a vacuum. There should be you should be there, and there should be one more person to listen to what you say, to interact with what you say, and you need to interact with the other person, the conversational partner, as he is called, he or she is called. Okay, this is the conversational convention. Without two people, with minimum two, you cannot have a conversation. And if at all you have a conversation with another person, it should be guided by 4 principles. There are 4 principles which guide a conversation. They are called cooperative principles or cooperative behavior. Maximum of quantity. That is, if any information is required, you have to give the required information. If the boy is asking about the fees, how much is the fees? You must be able to tell it should be 20,000 or 15,000, whatever it is. Apart from that, there is no other necessity for you to give any other information. Like that, if somebody is asking about your health, are you well? Yes, I am. But you don't look well. Yes, of course, yesterday I did not have sleep. That's all. But you need not give the reason behind your non-sleep, lack of sleep, all these things. So that is the information required. And the maximum of quality. Quality is what you speak should be true. If you speak something untrue, nobody is going to believe it. Okay? So what you speak is going to be the content has to be limited to the information, and it also should be true. And again, it should be related to the question raised, maximum of relation. If you are going away from the topic that you are discussing in a conversation, then nobody is going to be interested in listening to what you are saying. So that is the question of relation, maximum of relation. Then again, maximum of manner, the manner with which you are communicating. Maybe you are sincere in your expressions, or you are apt in your expression. It should be brief and orderly. Only then people will understand what you say. So these are the 4 minimum requirements for having a conversation, a successful conversation. You yourself can check when you speak with other people. If you are going away from the topic and people may not be interested, and they will one after one other, they will take leave. Okay? So a conversation helps you for exchange of information and maintaining the social bond. The social bond, whether in the office, it is a professional bond that you maintain. At home with your relatives, it is a social bond. It is the relationship, and in office, friendship. So responsible for negotiating statuses and roles. What way? Your position. What exactly your position in such a context. So all these things can be made sure with the kind of conversation you get engaged. And in a conversation, it may be conversation may be for making promises, assurance, and you can praise a person, you can flatter a person, or you can criticize a person, and as long as the person does not get offended, the conversation will go. Otherwise, it will completely break down and the partners, conversational partners will leave the place. Okay, so the conversation can be on anything. It can be invitations or it can be warnings. So the fundamental truth behind the conversation is the exchange of information. It can be a warning, it can be an invitation, it can be an assurance, it can be an acknowledgement, anything. But one thing we need to be sure is we need to interpret the meaning appropriately to the context and to the person, because conversation is not sometimes direct, sometimes we may be satirical in our expressions. You need to interpret. For example, there was a kind of one of my cousins always think to considers herself is very beautiful and she is like this actress and that actress, and usually our relatives make a mock at her. But one day one of our relatives called her, Trisha, please come over here. And she was so happy, and she said, and this lady was making fun of her, saying, calling her by the name of the actress. But she said, and she was so happy to be called by the name Trisha, thinking that everybody acknowledges her beauty and everybody is calling her Trisha. So this is how things go. We have to accept and appreciate the meaning. What for the meaning for which certain statements are made. That is the real requirement to make yourself happy in a conversation. Okay? And how can you be successful in conversation? Okay, you can. I would like to give you a tip to make your conversation or your interaction with people successful. Because language is a pattern, you know. As we know, language is a set of use of language is in patterns. For example, supposing when you are starting a conversation, you see a person, you just do not go and talk with the person. You just say hello, good morning. If it is a good morning, if an a person of equal status, you just say good morning, how are you? If it is a person higher up who is above you, then you say, sir, good morning, sir, how are you? Your tone. So the communication is mostly 60%, 40% your communication, and the 60% is your non-verbal communication. The way you modulate, bring the modulation in your words. How exactly you speak the words, your body posture, all these things count when you are in a conversation setup. So, in a when you want to talk to a person, start a conversation, it can be hello, how are you? So the other format again it can be the same hello can be used. Hello, is there anybody at home? If you are calling someone, if you went to somebody's house and the house is wide open, but nobody is seen in the hall, but you cannot just enter another person's house. You say, hello, is there anybody in? So this is a kind of summons. Okay. So this is how you interact with people. Likewise, the questions sometimes make the questions also demand the maybe it may be a kind of passing on the information. Now we request for action. Could you do that for me? If your higher up says, Could you do that for me? It may be a request, but the interpretation is he wants you to do that work. Okay? You just cannot say, just because he is asking for permission, could you do that work? You cannot say, no, sir, I cannot do. So you want to say, sure, sir, I will definitely do for you. So this is how the things go, how you are interacting. This is the personal rapport, how to build up the rapport. Conversations, maybe you are asking questions. For example, in a doctor-patient relationship, conversation can be anything. It need not be just sitting and speaking with others. It can be anything. You are asking for a file or asking for some help, or maybe you are asking someone to pass the file to someone else. That is also a kind of conversation. Okay? So, a conversation cannot be specified in terms of where it can be used, where it cannot be used. And the time and place, we definitely cannot define. This conversation can happen only in this place, only with this kind of people. No, it can be conversation can happen anywhere, whenever you have a message to pass on, whenever you want to receive a message, whenever you want to interact with people, the conversation is a must. Okay? Once you start the conversation, you say good morning or good evening or good afternoon, whatever it is, you have started a conversation. Hello, how are you? So the formal acting, that is the chunk that you use in a conversation. How are you? The other person may give the reply, I am fine. How are you? So this is the set of patterns that you get engaged in speaking a language. Okay. So when you are talking, when you are discussing certain information about something, it should have the appropriate gesture, and you have to, appropriate gesture is the posture with which you sit, that you are listening to the other person speaking. You're just looking somewhere and this person is talking to you, then automatically the conversation will break down. And again, listening to the speaker and responding to the speaker is very essential, and without which no conversation can sustain. So, and while closing the conversation, you just cannot go away abruptly. Though you have not, if you are talking with a neighbor in your office and you other table assistant, then you are talking with for something else. You just cannot go away. Just a minute, sir, madam is calling me. So just a minute. This is again a formulaic expression to inform the other person. Just a minute tells the other person that you are going on some other mission. So just a minute. Okay. This is the kind of language that you use in a conversation. So these non-verbal gestures make non-verbal and verbal gestures are very important in conversation. And as I have told you, use of formulaic language or chunks, because I told you this language is a set of patterns. As I have told you, opening conversation and sustaining a conversation and closing a conversation have a set of patterns. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, how are you? How is your father? How is your mother? How are things? If you ask a question like that, how are things? Long time since we saw, how are things? It is not things what we call in Tamil Sama. Samala eppadi irukku? No, this is not the answer for how are things. Is everything going on fine in your office? Then you have to interpret in the correct sense. Okay, that is the pragmatics. Pragmatics is wherein you have to understand the meaning in the speaker's shoes. The speaker, the right sense of the speaker. You have to understand what the speaker says. That is called pragmatics. So pragmatics is not the communication, it is the meaning in the communication. Okay? And how is the work? These are all the common things. This is the formulaic. How is the work? How is the father? Okay. How are things? Again, the same formulaic sense, but it has a different meaning. So, the meanings may be different, but the expression, the same expressions can be used for different purposes. They are called formulaic language. Okay. For example, work. Work is a noun. Work is a word, and you can build so many words around it. Go to work. My son will go to work from tomorrow. So it's a day's work. I will finish. I will finish today. Don't worry, ma'am. It's a day's work. I will finish. So there are so many. I'm giving you so many number of words that you can make, build around work. Okay, the work of a moment. Look for work. What is the meaning of look for work? Look for work. He is searching for a work. He is not. He is jobless. He is looking for some work. Okay. It's all my own work. I did everything. Nobody helped me. So these are the things that we are interpreting. But the words are same, the expressions are same, but the meanings may differ. And again, there are idiomatic expressions. In an office, you yourself might have used such expressions. If your boss is really good, you can say she is an angel, meaning that she is helpful in every way. Supposing if you don't like the person, you say he is a demon. This is how the people use the idiomatic expressions. But the idiomatic expressions should also be used just for maintaining rapport, not for antagonizing any person, whether he may be a superior or whether he may be of your own colleague, but still using the words, polite words. Politeness is the correct apt word for this session. The politeness is very important in your language. Unnecessary words and unnecessary usage will antagonize any person for that matter. Okay. I am giving you certain archetypal utterances. Archetypal, the stereotype utterances. Okay, for example, I will give you a ring. What is the meaning of I will give you a ring? It is not that you are going to give a ring to the person. It can be I will call you. I will be in touch. These are the formulaic expressions you can use in your communication. I will see what I can do. I will see what I can do. Maybe the other person has suggested for some help, like ask for some help. You can say, I will see what I can do. But supposing if you are using it, I will see to it what I can do. Meaning, it has a hidden meaning, saying that you do not like the action of the other person. I will see to it what I can do it. That you don't want the other thing to happen. I will be back in a minute, as I told you, just a minute. And this again, just give me a call. I will be there. These are the expressions we usually use in a official setup. It's okay. I'll do for you. Again, that's all when you talk to the colleague. But you are not going to talk like this with your superior. It's okay, sir. I will do for you. Okay. Sure, sir. I will do. Sure, ma'am. I will do. Don't worry, ma'am. I will do. You cannot say it's okay. When you serve food, you say one more spoonful. It can say. But the same is redundant in other calculation. When you are doing some office calculation and the other person wants to leave the place, you can simply say one more calculation, please, it will be over. Again, the politeness is the mantra for you to keep the rapport. And how much? This is again a formulaic usage. How much is the notebook? How much is reduced? How much time it will take? How much do you want me to pay? So this how much can be used in different contexts, but the expression is same, but the usage is different. All the same, politeness is the criteria. I hope you understood the use of English in different setups. And lastly, but I have to tell you about the phone etiquette. What is this phone etiquette? Because as I have told in the beginning, this COVID-19 and post-COVID-19, this pandemic, we are put up in such a situation, many of our things to happen only through phone. So whatever you speak through phone should reach the other person at the other end and also in the right spirit. For that, you have to answer the phone in utmost politeness. Answer the call within 3 rings, but this is not happening many times. Sometimes you may keep the phone in silence, or sometimes the phone might have lost the battery, the charge. So all this is, but once when you see the phone call, you can call the person and you can ask for the information. And when you take the phone, you are just introduce yourself. Hello, I am Dr. Radha from Dr. MJR speaking. So this is how you have to introduce the professional setup. Supposing you are talking to your relative and you just cannot expect they will all the time remember your voice. You can talk, I am your cousin Radha speaking. So this is how we have to introduce ourselves before that when you start the telephone conversation. And you have to speak clearly, do not mumble words. That is very important. Whatever you speak in English, you have to speak in English very politely and audibly, clearly also. And there is one more saying people usually say, that is the bathtub effect. That is, we listen to certain words, we are not sure about the words, but we want to get impressed. We want to people get impressed by the usage of the words. But sometimes it becomes comical, when you don't use the apt word for the apt situation, it will become a comical or a farcical situation wherein people may laugh at you. For example, if you want anecdote and antidote, if I want to say, I would like to give you an interesting anecdote. What is this anecdote? Anecdote is some short story, some interesting story. But antidote is something given as an alternative medicine for some other medicine already given, antidote. So if you say I am giving an antidote, people will laugh. So this is called bathtub effect. That you see only the tip and the top and the tip and the bottom of the word. You don't usually understand what exactly the word stands for. That is why many of us make mistakes in handling the vocabulary. So I would expect you to have a thorough understanding of the vocabulary that you have, that the limited number of vocabulary that you use is more than sufficient to build rapport among the type of people we are moving with. So you can use the words aptly and appropriate to the context and to the person. That is, language is usually said to be bound with the context and the persons in participation. Okay. So this is, and only use speakerphone when necessary. Do not quote up. Whenever you speak, do not co-speak, co-talk. What is this co-talking? When the other person will be talking, you will also be talking, and both of you will not understand what is being said. So, and when there is a call from the superior, you try to take notes. So this way, this is the kind polite way of maintaining the rapport, that you don't forget. Only when you forget, you are antagonizing your superior. So it is better that you take the notes and use proper language. Your language that you use with your superiors and colleagues should be proper and appropriate for the context, and never take liberty just because the superior is liberal or he is very considerate. Do not use the words which should not be used with the superiors and the colleagues. Okay, and remain always cheerful in your language. And when you are putting someone on hold while transferring the call, please inform the other person at the other end, saying you are transferring the call to someone else. That is very important. And when you are closing the call, you please ask for permission. What is this permission? It is not that, shall I keep the phone down? Sir, is everything over? Sir, So I think I have said whatever I wanted to convey. So this tells the other person at the other end that you have finished saying your message, and they themselves will say, okay, now thank you. We'll see you later. So this is how even the phone call will go. So I expect the utmost politeness and the apt vocabulary used, the structured language structure that you use in the that is for that only I am talking about the formulaic languages or the chunks that is used in the conversation, which can be of great help even for the low proficient ones. I wish that you have got some message from my presentation. Thank you for being patiently listening to what I have been saying. Thank you.
Thank you for the informative and enlightening session, ma'am.
Yes.
So now it's time for questions. Yes, ma'am.
Already we have exceeded our time, but if anybody wants to ask for questions, I am ready to give the answers.
Okay, participants, if you want to ask question, please unmute your mic and ask, or you can also type in the chat box. Any questions? Yes.
Sorry for the inconvenience. Vinay Kumar sir, just a minute. I'm going to post the feedback link. So the participant kindly fill the feedback link very carefully. Put salutation like Mr. or Miss and your initial and name. And then designation part, you want to type your designation and slash your department. Put a slash and type your department and type your details like your organization name carefully. Okay, and because this certificate will be auto linked with the feedback form, so you will receive the certificate within 1 hour. So if any errors or any kind of things you need to make it, you make a call to me or put a message on the group. I will try my level best to rectify your mistakes. So thank you. I am going to post the feedback. And Vinay sir, you can ask the question.
Vinay sir.
Yes. Yeah. Vinay Kumar Singh from Dear Bajaj Institute of Engineering and Technology. My question is, so if someone wants to learn English, actually I'm working on that nowadays. And if someone wants to learn English, what should be the proper way? Like if you are going to ask someone, each and everyone suggesting that you should have work on LSRW, means listening, speaking, reading, and
listening,
writing.
yes,
So
yes.
What is the proper way, and what is the effect of grammar? If someone is not perfect in grammar, then how can one start, and how one can develop the fluency, man? Like here I am speaking, I am mumbling sometimes. So I want to reduce this. So how can I? Please explain.
It's always better not to think about your proficiency level when you want to communicate. You have to speak fluently. Don't worry about the grammar that you are speaking. You have to improve your grammar by reading. Because we are in the non-native context, wherein we don't very often come in contact with the people who are really speaking good English, and they always want us to speak in English. The best way to communicate in English is, you don't worry about your proficiency level, always speak in English, have confidence that you can speak English, and that too fluently. You do not think about the grammar initially, but you cannot, because if you are going to have the same kind of errorful grammar always, it is going to fossilize your language use. What you need to do is, you have to read a lot, you have to see many English movies or series wherein, especially this Indian news, English news. These and all you can definitely watch to improve your English, and I expect you to speak only in English, especially when you are in your close company, the company of your friends or relatives at home. That gives you immense confidence to speak in English. Anything else?
Okay. Yes. Okay, thank you, ma'am. And at least now I'm able to communicate with you, because the earlier 6 months I was not able to develop the courage to speak in front of anyone. At least now I'm able to develop the courage and able to speak to you, and whatever it is in my mind, at least I'm able to convey that. ma'am.
Yes,
And
yes,
but
yes.
but I don't want to convey this in this way. Like I want to convey like your style. Like if I start one, I communicate throughout all the word and all the sentence can
Very
complete. I
good.
want to get that.
Yes. Your English is really good. The way the only thing is you have to, you are conveyed whatever you wanted to convey. We understand what you spoke. If you want to be better still, you can improve your English. You have to improve your English by reading and speaking. Only speaking will help you to speak in English. You have to speak with people in English always, if possible.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. At least
Thank
I'm
you.
not. At least I'm not feeling shy to speak in front of anyone. Thank
Yes.
you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Any other question? Participants, any other question? Okay, I think we are running short of time. So we'll move on to next thing. Gratitude is not only of greatest virtues, but the parents of all others. So now I call Ms. Indra, Assistant Professor, Department of English, to propose vote of thanks.
A warm evening to everyone. I'm immensely happy to propose the vote of thanks for this resourceful 3-day skill development program. First and foremost, I thank the Almighty for giving the opportunity, an optimistic mind, and good health during this pandemic time. I place and record our sincere thanks to our Honorable President, Engineer A.C.S. Arun Kumar, for being the fulcrum in all our actions. I thank our Provost Dr. G. Gopalakrishnan, Vice Chancellor Professor Dr. S. Geeta Lakshmi, Registrar, Dean Events, and the management for extending their guidance in all our initiations. I thank our Joint Registrar, E.N.D.S. Dr. D.B. Chabaraj, for his motivation and the thoughtful ideas shared on second day session. This program is initiated by Dean E.N.D.S. Dr. N.S. Subhashri for the benefit of non-teaching staff and bridging the gap between the teaching and non-teaching during this pandemic time. Ma'am, our heartfelt thanks to the interesting, dedicated, wonderful, meticulous organization of this program for all these 3 days, ma'am. The program is in collaboration with Department of English. My heartfelt thanks to Dr. M. Chandrasena Rajeshwaran, Head Department of English, for supportively channelizing the English department for smooth functioning of this program and cheerfully sharing her thoughts as a resource person in today's session. And I thank all the 4 eminent resource persons for enlightening the audience and revitalizing the thought process to sharpen their professional skills. I thank the technical team and organizing team, Ms. S. Bhuvaneshwari, Mr. V. Vasantan, Ms. D. Deepa, Ms. K. Gayatri, Ms. Rebecca Charlotte for their involvement in this program. Last but not the least, I thank all the participants from our our university, other colleges, and international level participants positively attending all 3 days to take away the handful of wisdom, motivation, ideas to improve communication skills in English, and hope our participants are benefited. Once again, my heartfelt gratitude to each and everyone who made this program a successful program. And stay home, stay safe. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you all.
Yeah, thank you. So participants, we have posted the feedback link in the chat box. You can use the feedback link and fill the feedback link. And fill the feedback form. So thank you for all the participants.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.